Welcome back to Pickleball for All. I'm Jeff Bruni here alongside with Cooper Wesley, our resident pickleball expert.
What's up?
So we've got a great episode today. We're going to talk about the strategy between indoor versus outdoor play and how you can prepare for that, what to expect, and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's basically two different sports when you come down to it, outdoor versus indoor pickleball. Isn't that right?
I'd agree. I mean, to a point. I mean, if you're a good enough player, it doesn't affect you that much. But
I was going to say, maybe not two different sports, two different strategies.
yeah, it is. Well, there's two different environments, totally, for sure. Biggest thing is obviously wind.
Oh, yeah.
No matter where you live in, there's generally some windy days when you're playing pickleball.
Sure.
Especially in the good seasons. But handling wind and the texture of the ball, depending on how cold or hot it is, that's something that I've had to deal with a lot.
So does the ball react different when it's hot or cold?
Absolutely.
Like, as far as the compression goes?
Yes. We'll stick, for examples, with just a Franklin X40. Because a Franklin X40 is a different ball at almost every single temperature variation. You can go from 30 degrees and that ball's going to crack within, 3 or 4 points if you're hitting it as hard as you want to. And you can go to a very hot game and you can get a Franklin and it turns into rubber.
Right.
I played a tournament in Lakeland, Florida, and it was about 110 degrees court temps outdoors. And that ball, of course, we were not playing with the Franklin at that time, but it was a similar texture and density ball. And that ball was like playing with Play-Doh.
Huh.
Yeah, the bounces were softer. Your hits were more dulled. There wasn't as much snap and pop on the ball. And because of that, the game was slowed down. And then people that, were banger players, they could still hit that ball with pace, but the ball had a lot different of a reaction than it normally does when you have a short, crisp sound with that ball.
Interesting.
And it's colder outside or fair weathered. But I'd say outdoors right now, as cold as it is, it's the opposite. That ball's faster. That ball's bouncing a little bit higher, and that ball is cracking all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
So you're gonna be going through a lot more if you want to play outdoors.
Interesting. And I'm sure you've got light issues, whether it's sunlight, whether
Right.
it's clouds, being
Yeah.
overcast. You've got depth issues.
Yeah.
There's not a consistent depth usually because a lot of times you're in a city park, and so there's, endless just grass behind you or baseball
Right.
fields or whatever it is, and so
Yeah.
your depth perception is off a little bit.
Oh, and there's little things all the way down to, I mean, it sure doesn't affect it that much, but me and guys down in Mississippi complain all the time. It almost feels like the humidity affects your play.
I was just going to ask
Yeah.
that.
I think I think to a point, it may be incremental, but I think to a point it affects the grit on your paddle. If it's a very, very humid day, I think that ball's slipping off that paddle
It
face
makes
a little
sense. I
more.
mean, any type of thing you're putting on your paddle
Mhm.
in between the paddle and the ball is going to impact it.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
gonna
could
be
just
a
be
little
moisture.
more moisture. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think really, I mean, the air is so dense too. I mean, the ball is
The air's
almost
heavier.
feels a little
right.
slower, or feels like the ball's having to push through a little more. Feels like your paddle swings feel a little
Right.
heavier. Yeah, it's all affected.
And the interesting thing too with outdoor play, it affects all players.
Right.
So everybody's got to deal with it. It's like
Yeah.
playing outdoor football. Everybody's got to deal with the rain. Everybody's got to deal with the mud. Everybody's got to deal with whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's just your ability to adapt.
Exactly. Yep. It's your ability to adapt. Great example. I played a tournament last year, and this was on a big swing where I had ran through 7 or 8 indoor tournaments leading into a spring, and we had a abnormally warm spring day, and me and a partner went and played in Tupelo, Mississippi, on an outdoor court, and it was a 20-mile-an-hour windy day. Just wind from one direction the whole time, swirling inside the courts because of the closed-off fences, and could not adapt to it, and ended up losing every single game in that tournament. Yeah,
Wow.
at a 4-0 level.
So are there, I've only played in indoor tournaments. Is there a point where the wind is so strong they'll cancel an outdoor tournament?
There is to a point. It just depends on, if they had a backup plan or if there's an extra venue they have to go to. That's happened in the past, especially in the Midwest, where you just,
It's windy.
in the winter, man, you just don't know if you're going to have a
Sure.
winter where it's windy every single day or not. So,
Right.
I think, honestly, I think people should really consider rescheduling an event if it gets past 20 miles an hour. Because
Sure.
there is a certain point where if you have a consistent 20-mile-an-hour wind and it's cross court, I mean, the game just
it's
not a
awful.
game anymore.
Right.
No, you're just
survival.
Yeah, we got to remember it's a wiffle ball, right?
It's right.
Yeah, we're not playing with a baseball or basketball. The wind really
tennis
affects
ball.
our sport. Yeah, tennis ball is not affected as much for sure.
So specific strategy, like as far as the game goes, is there a different strategy for serve? Are you just trying to be more consistent and get in the middle? Are you those guys that really kind of put cut on the ball? Does that go away?
I think watching the ball all the way to your paddle is going to help those guys. So those guys that like a Ben Johns or your pro players, if you watch them play in slow motion, like replays or anything, you watch Ben Johns specifically. He watches that ball all the way until it hits the pedal face and then quickly looks up to his opponent to see where that ball's going. Most of us, we're not doing that. Most of us, we're hitting that ball, we're already looking at our opponent when we hit it, or as that ball's coming to us, we're looking straight ahead instead of at the ball. And in a windy situation, when that ball is shifting and moving and maybe knuckling after a drive, I mean, you're just not going to be effective. You're probably going to hit that ball on the outside of your paddle 90% of the time and not hit that sweet spot if you're not watching the ball all the way to your paddle.
Right. And I think outdoor gameplay, you're just kind of managing expectations too.
Yeah.
To where, hey, you just got to deal with it. You got to roll with it. You can't get ticked off at yourself. You can't get ticked off of your opponent or at your partner.
Yeah.
You just got to deal with it.
Well, and if you're playing in a lot of tournaments, you're playing in a lot of PPAs. PPAs generally, because they're so big, aren't in indoor venues. And if you're wanting to be more serious about your tourney play, I think you definitely need to practice and drill in the conditions you're going to be in. So if you're going to be outdoors and you know you're going up to Utah and it's going to be a windy day and it's going to be cold in the winter, I'd suggest practicing in the wind on a cold day as much as you can.
Yeah,
and look at different shots, put different spins on the ball with your ball machine, and really make that ball do weird things because you're going to see all of it.
Sure.
So
awesome. The opposite of outdoor play obviously is the indoor play because it's a perfect environment.
It is.
It's in the pickleball factory, it's 70 all the time.
Yep.
And there's no wind, and the lighting is perfect.
Right.
And the sound is perfect, and the depth perception is always the same.
It's really it's more of a sandbox way of playing for sure.
Totally.
Everything's kind of catered to you specifically. I think the only big thing I would say that's different about indoor play is inconsistent lighting, where you can have dark spots and dead spots in your peripheral, and that can affect you a little bit. There can be glare coming from windows. A lot of facilities haven't mitigated the light coming in. They have a lot of windows with a lot of different glare, and then you're just your overhead LEDs, for lobs and smashes and all that. That really gets people.
Yeah, one of the biggest compliments that we've gotten since we've opened the doors has been the lighting.
Right.
We got 6 lights per court.
Yeah.
So there's no, shadowing and dead spots when it comes to that. And
it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
It's probably some of the best indoor lighting I've seen in the 15 or so tournaments I've played indoors this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we get that compliment. We get noise control compliment that, we had Scott Moore, the number 1 15 over player in the world, come in, and he's like, Jeff, I don't know what you did to this place, but it is the quietest indoor facility I have ever played in.
Yeah, the sound is top notch for sure.
Because we've got the music cranked.
Right.
There's 14 indoor courts, so it can get loud, but you can still communicate to your partner. You can still hear the score from your opponents.
No, you can talk to the person across the court from you.
Sure.
Feels like you don't have to yell to do that when it's a full house, and that's really something.
Yeah, people don't realize how loud it can get in an indoor facility unless they have done that noise mitigation.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, outdoor and indoor is a totally different game.
Right.
But again, outdoor can be fun because of the unknowns.
Yeah. For sure. I think outdoor feels more wide open, even if your courts are the same size and your fencing's the same size. Just being outside can make you feel like that court's bigger psychologically.
Sure, totally.
And that really changes people's game a lot. And guys that are cooped up indoors and playing all year, you get outside and all of a sudden your court feels bigger. That makes you a better player for sure, right off the bat. And then the same guys that play year-round indoors, you come outside and you get 2 mile an hour wind, and all of a sudden you can't hit a ball square.
Yeah, no doubt. That's me.
No, I think everybody here in Missouri after a long winter.
I mean, I played
warm day.
Oh yeah, I played 99% indoors, and when I go outside, I might as well just be playing left-handed.
Right. Sometimes it's the most fun pickleball you can play.
It's true. That's true. That's true. And you get suntan.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes. So, upcoming with the factory, one of the things I wanted to highlight today is some of our membership levels. Something different that we do than most places. We've got something we call a Duper Elite membership.
Right.
And that's for those players that really take the game serious. They're a 4.0 Duper or higher.
Right.
And we want those people to come in and feel like they're getting value. So it's $40 a month for those players. And that would be you. You're a 4.0 and higher, and you bring a lot of those people in and they take advantage of that.
Right. And that's a select few group of people. I mean, people have to realize that getting up to that 4.0 level is really something special. And there's a lot of us here in this area, and so it feels less special. But, I mean, the percentage of players that are 4.0 and above is significantly smaller to the rest of the field. So if you've done the work and put the time in, there ought to be a little something extra to your indoor facility. And there's gear involved in that. There's custom Duper apparel, events planned in the future, and really like anybody that is serious about the sport to be a part of that.
Sure. I'm a 4.0 in spurts.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
I'm not consistently a 4.0. I make some 4.0 shots.
We can get you a 1 month a year tournament membership if you want.
There you go. I make some 4.0 shots, and I make some 0.4 shots.
Right.
And those are kind of more prevalent in my game sometimes.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you all tuning in. Remember, send any questions or anything you want topic-wise to info@picklecape.com. Look us up on pickleball or picklecape.com, just the website, and find out any information you want about the facility. And we appreciate you listening and tuning in, because this is Pickleball for All.